Right, we're live. We're just about live, and we're live. Good evening, all, and welcome to tonight's Wednesday night quiz. It's lovely to see you all again, and I hope everybody is well. What a dismal day it was today. We were, well, it's been horrible, really, all day long. I went to the pub this morning to do a little bit of work in the garden and get some ropes fitted to our newly fitted posts. They look quite nice. But the weather was drizzling on and off all morning, which was a bit of a pain in the arse, to be blunt, but never mind. And of course, this afternoon I've been sat here doing my quiz just to keep you all entertained this evening. So let's see who is signing in then. We've got Mike Yates. Good evening, Mike. Lovely to see you signed in and ready to go. I trust you might have one or two of your pals with you tonight helping you out. I don't know. It was a tough quiz last night. I was surprised, actually. I did as well as I did last night, because I got stuck very much on the logos round, which I thought was particularly difficult, and I didn't do very well on the music round either. I thought I was giving everybody a really good chance last night, but never mind. Obviously, other people did worse than I did, but never mind. Right, Evening Miller's just Ian Miller. Sorry, Evening Miller. Ian Miller's just signing. Good evening, Ian. Hope all is well with you and the family. And the Hedgehogs, of course, and you'll have to give us an update on that score, see how they're doing. Robin, what's he put? And don't think that we're not grateful, Nick. Well, for what? I'm not quite sure. Anyway, enough said of that. Last week's winners, of course, were PRS, of which Robin is a member of their team. So hopefully PRS will be back to retain their Wednesday night title. They won last week with 59 points. Now, last week's quiz was very close. We had a number of teams, including Sarah's team from Worcester, who were leading going into the last round and managed to blow it with a dismal, shall we say, last half of the round. But never mind, that's a shame. They ended up with 56 points. So last week's winners on 59 points with PRS, closely followed by Home Alone, Carol Jackson and the gang from Crick on 58 points. On 57 points, we had the Quizzy Rascals, who have been multiple winners before of this quiz. And that was followed by 4 or 5 teams on 56 points, including the famous 5. Sarah Russ and the gang from Worcester. We had Chris Speak on 56. And we also Pick and Mix also on 56 points. So we've just had Faye's just signed in. Hi, Nick Angela. Happy Hump Day. Well, happy Hump Day to you. For the work that you do, obviously. Mick Roberts, Mick and Bev online. Nice to see you, Mick. Hope all is well with you. Are you doing any work from home, Mick, or have you given up altogether now? It'd be interesting to know, actually. I presume they're just letting you work from home as we speak. Not having to go off doing anything at the moment, eh? Jackie Skips just signed in. Good evening, Jackie. Hope all is well with you and the family, and things are okay with you. Ian Miller's just saying, Hogs okay. They have a cat friend now at feeding time. Does the cat stay clear of them, I presume? I don't know. Or I suppose he probably doesn't. They don't mind each other, I expect. Cats and hedgehogs, they probably get on all right, don't they? Sarah says, I'm going to try again this week, said Sarah. Right. That's what we like to see, and you'll be pleased to know, Sarah, there's a food round in tonight, a food and drink round. Round number 2, I think, is food and drink tonight, which might suit you a little bit as well. So Carol's saying, Home Alone 8 today. Signing in from Whitby, Oakham and Rugby, we have the addition of Martin and Joy. Well, great to see you both. Lovely to see you, Martin and Joy. That bit of experience might help you as well. We will see. Ian Miller's just said evening, Lydia. So, evening, Lydia. She's over the other side, just tapping away on our computer, making sure she's reading through my quiz to see all the mistakes I've already made before we start. Right, tonight's rounds will be as follows. We start off with the first round, 13 points up for grabs. It's called Wednesday the 15th. So just write down the initials. Wednesday, followed by 15TH. Wednesday the 15th. That is round number 1 tonight. Andrew Lewis has just signed in. Jane from Lutterworth, not Lutterworth, don't mind about Yelvertoft. Lime, it's a long time since I've been out the house, but never mind. So good evening to you, Andrew and Jane. Hope all is well with you too. And also John O'Rourke just signed in with the famous 5, so they're all logged in now. Have you got a full team tonight, John? I trust you may have. Nick Roberts is saying yes, he's working from home, as my daughter Lydia is, not from my home. I said she's working from home tonight, but yes, there's a lot of people still deciding now to stay at home. And if you can stay at home and work at home, it doesn't make much sense to be driving around all over the country, does it? Well, there we have it. It does show how much work can actually be done from home. Never mind. Right then, as I mentioned, Wednesday the 15th, which is worth 13 points because there's 13 questions in round one. Round number 2 tonight is a straightforward food and drink round. 10 questions, something to do with food and or drink. Obviously 10 questions, so there'll be 10 points up for grabs on that one. Round number 3 tonight is in the news. I haven't done an in the news round for a little while. It's all events that have been in the last week or two, which you would find in your newspapers on BBC News or World News, whatever. Round number 4 tonight is chain letters, which is a little bit like trivia trial, but instead of just using the last letter, you can use the last 1, 2, or 3 letters of the previous answer to give you the first, second, or third, or 3 letters of the following answer, so you get the idea. Right, Rich and Jen have just signed in. Good evening to you too. Hope all is well with you. And John Potter's just signed in. Evening, Nick. Jono, 9 fingers here. What happened to you, John? I saw a big cut in the centre of one of your fingers. I trust you need a refresher course on how to use power tools, I suppose, but never mind. Michelle, so we've got Charlie and Michelle signing in. James working the night shift tonight. Never mind, you don't need anybody else, Michelle. I'm sure you two will be fine. Up to do battle tonight. Right, we now have 40 teams signed up so far. A few more to come and join us. We've got Vanessa's just joined us from Burton. Good evening to see you, Vanessa. Hope all is well with you. And raring to get on with the quiz again tonight. So we went through round number 1, which was Wednesday the 15th. Round number 2, food and drink. Round number 3 tonight is in the news. Round number 4 is entitled chain letters, which I will explain when we get there. Round number 5 tonight is a straightforward history round. Some modern, some not so modern history. And finally, round number 6, which catches everybody out, is just some general trivia rubbish, which will keep you all on your toes. So there's a total of 63 points up for grabs tonight. Last Wednesday, the winning team got 59 points, so that's some going. Right, Harry Cage, Harry, Julie, and Ian have signed in. And whilst we're on air, Ian, I'm going to ask you, see whether you can do me a favour. I have another little electrical job for you, which you might be interested or might not be interested in. I'll tell you a little story. About this time last year, our pressure washer at the pub, which is a huge industrial Karcher electrical pressure washer. It's not electrical, sorry, but it's got an electrical fault. It blew a hose, and it was a hose which was very difficult to get at, so we took it to Karcher and down in Banbury. They fixed it. Took them about 4 months to turn the damn thing around. When we got it back, it was working fine. Within a week, it just stopped working, and it appears it's an electrical fault. Nothing's working. So I had a brief look, but didn't delve too far. I wonder whether you'd like to have a look at it for me, being my electrical expert. We don't mind paying for this because it saves us having to take the damn thing all the way back down to whatever. It's a big heavy beast, but it's at our brewery and needs some kind love and attention. It was all cleaned up and smartened up when it was left there. Anyway, enough of that baloney. We've had Rich and Jen sign in. Is it Wednesday the 15th? Yes, it is Wednesday the 15th. There should be 13. So take the first letters of each of those letters, numbers, and they will be the first letters and or numbers of your first round. Steve Farnham, good evening to you. We've also got the Giffords have just joined us, Graham. The Toft at Twosome here. There's this Toft just outside Cambridge. So good evening to you. Hope all is well with you and the family. And I hope the weather's been a little better down there than it has here. We've had constant grey skies, a little bit of drizzle, nothing much. Some absolutely hopeless solar performance today, but never mind. Only managed a dismal 14 kilowatts from the roof today. That was enough, mind you, to heat my hot water up, so what the hell. Right, we've got Matthew Bob. PRS have just signed in now. PRS are last Wednesday's winning team. So it's them to beat again tonight. So they managed 49 points last week, so that's how we're done. Gareth Williams just signed in. Good evening, Gareth. Hope all is well with you. Gareth and Bean here. That's what we like to see. Right, let's see how we all fare with that. Where are we? We have 5 more minutes. We've got 50 teams now signed in. Climbing steadily, all to do battle. I am considering doing a quiz, not necessarily next week, but maybe the week after, from a pub in Derbyshire. But I need to do some investigation to see whether they're able to host me sat in a corner speaking to the nation from a pub in Derbyshire somewhere. It's all about whether their broadband's good enough or not. I'm not going to risk it if the broadband's no good, but we'll see. Anyway, right, as I mentioned, we've got 6 rounds tonight. I've been through them once, but I will go through them around again quickly. Round number 1 is entitled Wednesday the 15th. Round number 2 is a food and drink round. Round number 3 is in the news. In the news this week or last week or the week before, certainly this century. Round number 4 is chain letters, which I'll explain when we get there. Round number 5 is a history round tonight, a history round, followed by round number 6, which will be a general trivia round. Right, Chilly Willie's just joined us. He says he's on his own tonight. Poor old Chilly Willie, never mind. And we've got Karen, hi from Blackpool. The Boomers are here from Blackpool. Got Gary and Karen have just joined us. So good evening to see you. Oh, and it's nice to see Jill Pugh, along with the Gloucester Pews are here. So we've got the Gloucester Pews. We've got teams from Worcester, Gloucester, Blackpool, all signed in now, and Cambridgeshire, of course. So it's great to see everybody else. We're approaching 60 teams now signed in. Anne Anderson's just joined us again. Good evening, Anne. Anne and Dave back again. Nice to see you. Hope it wasn't too boring and overpowering next time. The more of the quizzes you do, the obviously the easier they get, so to speak, if that makes any sense. Pick a Mix have just joined us. They were in the top 4 or 5 last week. They ended up with 56 points, which was only 3 points off the winning score last Wednesday night. So let's see whether they can get back in the mix this week. Oh dear, it gets worse, doesn't it? Never mind. Right, well, 3 minutes to go. And then first round tonight, as I say, is Wednesday the 13th. You might like to get yourself a sheet of paper and write Wednesday the 13th, top to bottom. Obviously, your first answer starts with the letter W. The letter W. Now, I'll be interested to know, has anybody seen this comet yet? I went out to look at it the other night, and unfortunately it was cloudy, and I went out last night and I looked again and it was cloudy again, so I haven't seen the damn thing. But apparently there's quite a bright comet in the sky at the moment. It's the best one for the last few years, certainly since Hale Pop, which I saw a few years back, and a few others. But it'd be interesting to know whether anybody's seen it anywhere in the UK, so to speak. The comets in the morning sky, or late evening sky, but should be in somewhere low in the northern horizon. Simply no. Right. That's fair enough. Straightforward answer to that question. Never mind. Oh dear. Right, 2 minutes to go, and we'll get going. Now got 62 teams signed on at present, and just climbing slowly but surely. We're getting everybody signed in. And there's plenty of people who don't want to listen to my waffle before the quiz starts, which I can understand because I do waffle on rather. But never mind, once it gets going, we're fine. And yes, Paula Lewis and the Quizzy Rascals have just signed in. Now we're in trouble. The Quizzy Rascals were last week's 3rd place last week, and they have won this quiz on numerous occasions. So Quizzy Rascals last week scoring a very respectable 57 points out of a possible 63, I think, last week. So good evening, Paula. Hope all is well with you and the family, and you're all keeping well. Right then, we're about ready to go, I think. Just a minute, and then we'll crack on. So let me just bring up my quiz at the top of the sheet, if I can figure out how to do it. All these split screens. Here we go, to the top. And then we'll see how we do tonight. Right. I presume everybody's got a clear picture and not breaking up too much and can see all the chat. If you have any problems with the chat and or your picture, do just log out and log back in again. It seems the only way to fix anything. We've got a fairly fast internet speed this end, so there should be no problems here. But some people, I know, like Ian in deepest, darkest Peak District or whatever else, has a pretty poor connection up there. Oh, he's doing it from his phone, as it doesn't make it very easy at all. Right then, it's now 2015, so let's crack on with this quiz. Are we ready? Eyes down, look in. Round number one, question number one's got to start with the letter W, and they don't get much easier than this. Forming part of the border between England and Wales, what river is the fifth longest in the United Kingdom, stretching some 215 kilometres from its source in mid-Wales to the Severn Estuary? Just a one-word answer I'm after. So, forming part of the border between England and Wales, what river is the fifth longest in the United Kingdom, stretching some 215 kilometres from its source in mid-Wales to the Severn Estuary? Remember, that's going to start with the letter W, which should make that fairly straightforward. I'm sure it becomes easy. That must be fairly easy for people from Gloucester and Hereford and Worcester way, surely. Question number two is a bit more difficult, starting with the letter E, created by Polish ophthalmologist L.L. Zamenhof in 1887. What is the most widely spoken constructed international auxiliary language? So, created by Polish ophthalmologist. Oh, God. Right, forget that. He looked after your eyes, and he was Polish, and his name was Zamenhof in 1887. What is the most widely spoken constructed international auxiliary language? Yeah, ophthalmologist. That's better. Say it slow, Nick, will be all right. So I'm after the name of that constructed language. It's probably the only one you've ever heard of. Starting with the letter E. Question number three is also a bit tricky. Listen carefully. This starts with the letter D. Dionysus successfully conveyed the sense of constant threat under which powerful people live after she suspended a sword over whose head as he wanted to taste fortune at first hand. Evening, Alex. Hope all is well with you. The Browns have just signed in. The first two questions are up there, Alex, for you. And this is question number three. Dionysus successfully conveyed the sense of constant threat under which powerful people live after she suspended a sword over whose head as he wanted to taste fortune at first hand. That starts with the letter D. Right then, question number four, just after this one-word answer. What one word can follow the words given and maiden and precede the word drop to form three new two-word phrases? Hope I got that right tonight. So what one word can follow the words given and maiden and precede the word drop to form three new two-word phrases? Three new. I really ought to write the questions a bit easier so I can understand them myself. It hasn't been cold today, that's one thing. Just a bit miserable. Hopefully it's going to be a bit better tomorrow. Right, question number five is part of a nursery rhyme. According to the first line of a popular nursery rhyme, what makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise? So I'm looking for the first line of that popular nursery rhyme. So according to the first line of a popular nursery rhyme, what makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise? And it starts with an E, and it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7-word answer. No, it's not 6-word answer. No, it's not 7-word answer. It's all right. Going mad tonight. You should know that, Angela. Haven't you got it? See, wife's not got it. Wife's not got it. It's going mad. Question number 6, listen carefully. Pierre is the capital of which US state whose name starts with a cardinal compass point? Compass direction. So Pierre is the capital of which US state whose name starts with a cardinal compass direction? Not many of them. Not enough by the looks of Chris. I'm just settling down. I think the nerves are a bit high at the moment. They'll settle down in a minute. I'll be able to pronounce my words. Or should I say slur my words so you don't know the difference? Question number 7's got to start with the letter D. This is for all you ornithologists. The hedge sparrow or hedge warbler has what 7-letter alternative name? Often seen up and around my garden. So the hedge sparrow or hedge warbler has what 7-letter alternative name? Remember, that's got to start with the letter D. And they have a lovely song, actually. That bird, particularly. What's wrong, Ange? Oh, I see. Question number 3. A legend about which king tells the story of how he fled to the Somerset Levels and was given shelter by a peasant woman whom, unaware of his identity, left him to watch some cakes she had left cooking on the fire. So I just need to know the name of that king. I've got a 3-word answer, but 1 word will do fine. So a legend about which king tells the story of how he fled to the Somerset Levels and was given shelter by a peasant woman who, unaware of his identity, she left him to watch some cakes she had left cooking on the fire. I would have gone and told the whole story, but for the fact that I would have run out of space, obviously, with the question. Now, question number 9. If you don't know this, you'll just have to have a little bit of a guess at it, because you can put this together if you try hard enough. Just a little bit of logic, because it starts with the letter Y, which is a big help. So often made of wood, what name is given to a foldable 3-foot ruler, which was especially common in the construction industry? Obviously, it's not quite so common these days, but so often made of wood, what name is given to a foldable 3-foot ruler, which was especially common in the construction industry? It starts with the letter Y. It really is a 1-word answer. It could be hyphenated, but it's a 1-word answer as far as I know. Now then, as we get to question number 10, this has got to start with a number. And this week, as it's the 15th, it's got to start with the number 1. I'm after a 2-digit number, starting with the letter 1. Listen carefully. Providing the bar manager has approved the sale, what is the minimum age that a person can serve alcohol in a restaurant? So question 10 again. Providing the bar manager has approved the sale, what is the minimum age that a person can serve alcohol in a restaurant? It says that's easy. I've got my license, my personal license, and I had to look that one up to make sure. It's an easy one to get wrong, that. Question number 11, starting, serve or be served. This is the person that is serving you, not to be served. It's the person that is serving you. Question number 11. In the world of bingo nicknames, if the caller were to shout out Danny LaRue, what number would they be referring to? Do remember it starts with the number 5. So in the world of bingo nicknames, if the caller were to shout out Danny LaRue, what number would they be referring to? It's a two-digit number starting with the number 5. Question number 12. It's an interesting book, full of facts, this one. According to the book How to Spot a Witch by Roald Dahl, real witches lack witch body parts. Remember, it's got to start with a T. So according to the book How to Spot a Witch by Roald Dahl, real witches lack witch body parts. It's a book well worth getting, that's full of facts. Facts of fiction, maybe, but facts all the same. Keep it clean. Don't I always, Ian? Always keep things clean. I haven't had a Uranus question yet. You'll have to wait for Sunday for me to come up with another one of them, surely. Question number 13, to bring this easy first round to an end, referring to its ringed shape, and this isn't a Uranus question, what is the term used to describe the protective exterior framework now above the cockpit of a Formula One car? So referring to its ringed shape, what is the term used to describe the protective exterior framework now above the cockpit of a Formula One car? They looked a bit daft when they first fitted them, but now they seem to be part of the car, so nobody seems to take any notice anymore. So that's just a one-word answer for that one. So there we have it. Anybody need any repeats on that or any more time on that? You got to work most of those out or have a good guess at them all. Probably number 2 and 3 were the hardest in that round. Right, if anybody else has been doing anything really exciting this week, you'll have to let me know. Put it in the chat. We can chat about it. See what you've been up to. What do we think about Boris's decision now for everybody to wear face masks? That's interesting. When I was in Vietnam back in January, we were stood in a queue and this woman passed us a face mask and we were going, what's she doing? Everybody got a face mask on. And they take it very seriously out in Asia, obviously. But when we go home, nobody seems to be bothered whatsoever. But it does appear a bit bizarre that he's now decided to make it law after we've all been going to shops for the last, well, since lockdown began, really. The only thing they never shut down were the shops and main supermarkets. Right then, let's do some marking after round 1. See how you've all fared. Nobody needs any longer, I don't think, do they? Right, here we go then. Round number 1, we started off with the W. That river I was after was the river Wye. Number 2, that internationally constructed auxiliary language is better known as Esperanto. Esperanto, well worked out if you got that. It was by some Polish ophthalmologist. I nearly got it right. Number 3, Dionysus successfully conveyed the sense of constant threat that all leaders have. And she suspended the sword over Damocles' head. And he didn't realise until the meal had finished. And then he ran off quickly. Number 4, of course, the word I was after was name. The name that follows given and maiden name and name drop. Number 5, that tricky nursery rhyme, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy and wise. So the line I wanted was early to bed and early to rise, which you all know that one. Pierre is the capital of South Dakota. South Dakota. Number 7, the hedge sparrow, is better known as the dunnock. Number 8, I was after Alfred the Great, of course, who burnt the cakes. Number 9 was a bit tricky. That one word starting with the letter Y. Obviously, the 3 feet ruler gave it away. It's called a yardstick. A yardstick. Number 10, providing the bar manager has approved the sale, what is the minimum age that a person can serve alcohol in a restaurant? That is 16. 16-year-old. Number 11, in the world of bingo nicknames, if the caller were to shout out Danny LaRue, what number would they be referring to? It's number 52. According to the book of How to Spot a Witch, that book you all ought to get for reference by Roald Dahl, apparently they don't have toes. They don't have toes, so you need to look at their feet. And finally, number 13, that ring around the driver to protect their head is called the halo. The halo, which is now fitted to Formula One cars. Right, add them up, put your scores in. Let's see how you fared. After round number 1, I'm expecting plenty of 11s, 10s, 11s, 12s there, maybe the odd 13. So let's have a look, see how you all fared. Chilly Willy, first of all, we've got the famous 5 and a fantastic 12. Chilly Willy's on the 12. Sarah's on a 13. Sarah. Mike Yates on a 12. Ian Miller's on an 11. Quizzy Rascals are on 13. Harry, Julian and Ian on a 13 points. Andrew Lewis is on a 10. The Booby Prize girls are on a 10. And Michelle's on 13. Rich and Jenny are on 12. Steve Farner's on 10. PRS are on 12. Mick Roberts on 11. We've got Carol Jackson Home Alone 8 on 12. Pick a Mixer on 11. Graham Gifford's on 11. 10 for the Blackpool Boomers. Fantastic. Well played, Karen and the gang. Any more scores? Mick Roberts is on 11. Gareth Williams, Jez and Bean on 8. Jill Pugh, 13 points for the Pews there. Split the Difference are also on 13 points. So we've got a number of teams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams on 13. Plenty on 11s, 10s and 12s. Any more scores to come in? It is going down a lot anyway. Right then, round number 2, and Anderson's on 11 points as well. Right, anybody else got their scores to put up there? Oh, Pick a Mixer on 11 as well. So, right, let's get on to round number 2 then, which is a straightforward food and drink round. A food and drink round. 10 general knowledge questions on the subject of food and drink. Oh, Ian's just updating us. Wolves 1, Burnley 1. Simple C. Well, I like that. Simple C. There's no gang, Nick. No. Oh, isn't there? There's only 2 of us. The Blackpool 2. Oh, free the Blackpool 2. Oh, dear God. Right, you'll be all right on this round, Karen. No problem at all. Food and drink. Just up your alley this one. Here we go then. Question number 1. Along with white rum, sugar, lime juice, and soda water, what herb is also one of the main ingredients of a mojito cocktail? So, along with white rum, sugar, lime juice, and soda water, what herb is also one of the main ingredients of a mojito cocktail? Sure, a lot of you ladies will get that one straight away without any problem at all. Question number 2. In June 2020, what brand of rice announced it was scrapping the image of a black farmer that had featured on the brand's packaging since the 1940s? Robbins just said the best mojito was in a departure lounge at Havana Airport. I'm sure it probably was. I had one in a bar in India that was very nice, I have to say. Part of my wife, but Karen was saying one of our favourites when we were out in the Dominican Republic. You're right, yeah. So in June 2020, what brand of rice announced it was scrapping the image of a black farmer that had featured on the brand's packaging since the 1940s? Question number 3 for all you whiskey fans. For whiskey to be called Scotch whiskey, it must be aged in oak barrels in Scotland for at least how many years? So for Scotch whiskey to be called for whiskey to be called Scotch whiskey, it must be aged in oak barrels in Scotland for at least how many years? It's not the same as a malt whiskey, I'll have you know. Well, it might be, but that's not the question I'm asking. Presumably that's to make sure that they don't confuse it with Japanese whiskey. The Japanese are very good at making whiskey, apparently. Right, question number 4. Listen carefully. With a name derived from Hindi, what is a type of fresh cheese common in the Indian subcontinent? It is a non-melting soft cheese made by curdling milk with citrus fruit acids. So with a name derived from Hindi, what is a type of fresh cheese common in the Indian subcontinent? It is a non-melting soft cheese made by curdling milk with citrus fruit acids. Oh, yes. I've heard of the whiskey place in the Cotswolds. Question 5, there's not many options here. In terms of both revenue and number of locations, what is the largest coffeehouse chain in the world? So question 5 again. In terms of both the revenue and the number of locations, what is the largest coffeehouse chain in the world? What? Yeah, it was. Yeah. Right, question number 6 for you sommeliers. I'm sure you get this one. Martinborough and Marlborough are wine regions in which Commonwealth country? So Martinborough and Marlborough are wine growing regions in which Commonwealth country? Not quite so easy, that one. Unless, of course, probably Helen and Mark Pugh should get that one straight away. That's working for wine merchants, that might help. Question number 7 is a bit trickier. What soft fruit flavoured drink was created in Germany during the Second World War when a trade embargo meant that Coca-Cola syrup couldn't be imported? It has a name that is short for the German word for imagination. If you can work that one out, you're doing well. Might become apparent if you can think of some soft drinks. So what soft fruit flavoured drink was created in Germany during the Second World War when a trade embargo meant that Coca-Cola syrup couldn't be imported? It has a name that is short for the German word for imagination. Thought I'd slip that one in for you, Robin. You must know your German for imagination, surely. Could be. Could be. Question number 8. Born in 1890, Colonel Sanders is best remembered for founding which fast food chain? Well, I don't think it was fast food when he first invented it. It's probably turned into one. So born in 1890, Colonel Sanders is best remembered for founding which food chain? I think we'll leave it at that. Probably wasn't so fast when he first invented it. Got a what? How are we doing so far? Keeping up? Have you really? Goodness gracious. You didn't go in 1890, did you? I know you're getting old, Robin. Sorry. Question number 9, and this isn't rude. What ice cream based product has a name that means a little horn in Italian? You'll be able to work that one out. Think carefully. So, what ice cream based product has a name that means a little horn in Italian? Just making sure you're not giving your mother all the answers. And finally, question number 10. This is interesting. Before this phrase was removed in 2010, due to EU regulations stating that weights and measures on packaging must be in metric, the packaging on Cadbury's Dairy Milk chocolate bars produced between 1928 and 2010 said that they contained how much milk? Wasn't really much of a measure, but never mind. So before this phrase was removed in 2010 due to EU regulations stating that weights and measures on packaging must be in metric, the packaging on Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate bars produced between 1928 and 2010 said that they contained how much milk? Yeah, don't think too hard about that one. You can understand because it is a bit of a vague term, to say the least, but never mind. I don't quite know why they're bothered about that, to be fair. Right, do we need any repeats, or is everybody happy with that? There's only a couple really you have to think about. Well, if you've been doing these quizzes since lockdown started, I don't know, most people have done quite a few by now, I know, but we've now done 31 quizzes. 31 6-round. Well, they started off with 5 rounds and I increased it to 6 rounds after a couple of weeks. So, doing quite well if you've been doing all these quizzes. We'll go back to that now that we've left. You're probably right, Chile. I can't enforce it anymore. We can, if Cadbury's want to, but then Cadbury's is not a British company anymore, is it? So, is it worth bothering with? But maybe it is. Right then, food and drink round. Let's go through the correct answers, or the answers I've got on my sheet, even if they're not correct. Question number 1 was that cocktail. The herb I wanted was mint, of course, which goes in a mojito. Mint. Number 2, that Black Farmer. Apparently, on the brand packaging, was called Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben. Number 3, to call it Scotch whisky, it must be aged in oak barrels in Scotland for 3 years. Question number 4, that cheese I was after was called paneer. So next time you eat a chicken paneer, it means it's got cheese in it. Though to be fair, you wouldn't tell much difference between that and chicken sometimes. Number 5, the coffeehouse chain I wanted was Starbucks. Number 6, Martinborough and Marlborough are both wine grain regions in New Zealand. Well done if you got that. One is on North Island, one is on South Island, apparently. Number 7, which soft fruit flavoured drink was created in Germany? Well, coming from the word imagination, which in German is Fantaise, it's Fanta, of course, I was after. Fanta. So well done if you got that. Number 8, of course, was KFC, or Kentucky Fried Chicken. Number 9, that ice cream, which means little horn in Italian, is a cornetto. A cornetto, of course. And finally, number 10, it was a glass and a half of milk that the EU took umbrage with, and it had to be removed from Cadbury's packaging. But as Chilly Willy says, might well be brought back now, as soon as we've left after Christmas properly. Right then, let's have some scores in, see how you fared after that tricky round, but never mind. Nevertheless, we have some very good scores. John O'Rourke, the famous 5, on 22. Michelle's on 22. Home Alone 8 on 21 points. That's a very good score. Anne Anderson's on 18. Steve Farnham's on 20 points. We've got Sarah and the gang, Russ and the gang. I don't know how many are in your team tonight, Sarah. 4 of you or just 2 of you tonight? On 22 points, we've got Ian Miller on 19. Rich and Jenny are on 20. Harry, Julie and Ian on a fantastic 23 points. 4 marks so far. Roger Griffiths on 19. We've got Chilly Willy on 18. We've got PRS on 21. Graham Gifford's on 19. Jill Pugh out on 23 points. That's great scoring so far. Mick Roberts on 16. Picker Mixer on 19. The Blackpool Boomers, the 2 of them, on a fantastic 19. We've got Jackie Skip, the Booby Bride Girls, on 18. Mike Yates is on 19. Well done, Mike. 17 for Andrew Lewis. Vanessa Hughes on 11. Gaz and Bean are on 14. Sarah, what's she put? Always 4. Oh, there are 4, always 4. Split the difference from 23. Rich and Jen. It's Jen. Oh, what did I say? Sorry, Jen. Did I say something else? Oh, dear. It's not going well for me tonight, but never mind. Anyway, Rich and Jen, they're on a very respectable score. And we've got Alex Browning with 17 and the Quizzy Rascals also on 23 points. So at the moment, the Quizzy Rascals, we've got Ian, Julie and Harry on 23 and 1 or 2 teams on 22 points. So it's all very close at the moment. Round number 3 is in the news this week, last week, the week before. None of it is more than a month or old, I don't think, but never mind. So are we ready for one in the news round the last week or two? Some are easy, some are not quite so easy. No, well, they don't have toilet paper in KFC. So I don't know. You know why they don't have toilet paper in KFC? Oh, peppery. Yeah, it's all right. Enough of that. Question number 1 then. Here we go. The BBC. This is question number 1. Finger licking. Oh, dear God. The BBC recently confirmed it is to go ahead with plans to end free TV licenses for people over what age who do not receive pension credits. So the BBC recently confirmed it's to go ahead with plans to end free TV licenses for people over the age of over what age who do not receive pension credits. Karen, you'll know that one, surely. Question number 2. This was in the news today. Which company today learnt that it will not have to pay Ireland 13 billion euros in back taxes after the European Union's second highest court ruled there was a lack of evidence that EU competition laws had been broken? It's been simmering that for some time. So which company today learnt that it will not have to pay Ireland 13 billion euros in back taxes after the European Union's second highest court ruled there was a lack of evidence that EU competition laws had been broken? You can have a good guess at that one. There's not many companies you can try and sue 13 billion euros for. Question number 3 is pretty straightforward. Footballer Jack Charlton, who died recently, made a club record 773 appearances for which football team. So question 3, footballer Jack Charlton, who died recently, made a club record 773 appearances for which football team? You are? Oh, great. Question number 4, bit of a guess question, but I'm sure you might guess this correctly. On July the 10th, passengers entering the United Kingdom from a number of countries no longer had to self-isolate for 2 weeks. Which of the following Commonwealth countries is not on this list of exemptions? I'll give you the choice. Is it Australia, Canada, or New Zealand? So listen carefully again. On the July the 10th, passengers entering the United Kingdom from a number of countries no longer had to self-isolate for 2 weeks. Which of the following Commonwealth countries is not on this list of exemptions? I'll give you the choice. Is it Australia, Canada, or New Zealand? So one of those countries you've got to isolate still, apparently. Guess which one? Question number 5 is about somebody that died recently. Very well-known person. A private funeral for which famous person was held in Italy recently, with the soundtrack to the film The Mission played as his body was blessed. That's all you need to know, really. So a private funeral for which famous person was held in Italy recently, with the soundtrack to the film The Mission played as his body was blessed. Very big clue in that. I'm sure if you've got any idea, you'll get that right. So then, let me know, Carol, how's cousins Martin and Joy getting on, enjoying this? Are they enjoying it or not? Or have they switched over to the other channel or gone out the room already? You'll have to let me know. Question number 6. As of today, a temporary VAT reduction to supplies of food and non-alcoholic drinks from restaurants, pubs, bars, cafes, and similar premises across the United Kingdom will apply. But what is this new VAT rate? Just need a number. So as of today, a temporary VAT reduction to supplies of food and non-alcoholic drinks from restaurants, pubs, bars, cafes, and similar premises across the United Kingdom will apply. But what is this new rate? I don't want to know what the deduction is. I want to know what the new rate is. Whether it will help the hospitality industry, we'll yet to see. Got to get our free meal in August yet, haven't we? We'll see what that goes down on. Question number 7. The world famous graffiti artist Banksy posted a video on his Instagram account showing how he gained access to the tube train and sprayed images of what animals sneezing all over the inside of the carriages. Yeah, it's quite good. Except London Underground removed it because it was graffiti. You would have thought they'd have left it, but they didn't. So the world famous graffiti artist Banksy posted a video on his Instagram account showing how he gained access to the tube train and sprayed images of what animals sneezing all over the inside of the carriages. Quite appropriate, really, I suppose. Question number 8. The Luminaries, a series currently showing on BBC One, is based on the Man Booker Prize-winning novel written by Eleanor Caton. But in which Commonwealth country is the story set? So question 8 again, it's been slapped about on the BBC a lot. The Luminaries, a series currently showing on BBC One, is based on the Man Booker Prize-winning novel written by Eleanor Caton. But in which Commonwealth country is the story set? Question number 9, another film question. As her voice now sounds too old, actress Julia Sawalha recently announced she was not going to voice Ginger in a sequel to which famous 2000 film, the highest grossing stop motion animated movie in history? That's a good one. So question 9 again. As her voice now sounds too old, actress Julia Sawalha recently announced she was not going to voice Ginger in a sequel to which famous 2000 film, the highest grossing stop motion animated movie in history? See, Karen, you are keeping up with some kind of news. Yeah. It's all right, don't worry. News is news. Oh, God. Don't know why I bother putting this one in because I can't pronounce it anyway. There's a few clues in this to help you. So let's see whether you can get this one. Question number 10. This is kind of recent, but not this week. Question number 10. Founder, CEO, and chief designer of SpaceX, who recently named their first son X-A12. However, the name was deemed illegal under California law because they weren't using English digits apparently, and it had to be altered slightly. And I've written down what they altered it to. It reads the same though. So founder, CEO, and chief designer of SpaceX, who recently named their first son X-A12. However, the name was deemed illegal under California law and had to be altered slightly to X-A12, but spelled differently. Now, famous people have to come up with something stupid, but you wouldn't want to be called that, would you? And that's exactly how they spelt it, apparently. Lydia's just put it down there, so it just shows you how daft it was. The first one, because it's got I don't know whether it's a Greek symbol or whatever. The first one was deemed illegal, so I had to change it to the second one. Although apparently it reads the same, but different. And that's a 2-word answer I'm after for that one. So that is the news round. So I hope you've been keeping up with the news. Most of those were fairly straightforward. Well, I say that, maybe they weren't. We'll see how you've done. Right, do we need any more time on that round, or are we all happy? I'll give you another minute. I need to mix some of this lager up, actually. It's a bit naff on its own. This is a beer to avoid, actually, this one. Brewdog's Lost Lager. Brewdog normally makes some very good beers, but this is awful. And that's why it was as cheap as chips at Sainsbury's. They're obviously trying to get rid of it. So whatever Brewdog can do, they can't brew lager. So where are you going in Peak District? Where were we going? Yeah, Ashover. But we're thinking of going to Ashover. You know where the Poets' Corner is, and got 4 pubs in a lovely little village in the middle of nowhere. It's not far from Matlock. Not really up on the high peak or anything, but it's that kind of way. Well, we've got a friend that's been living up there in lockdown, and we all went up there as a quiz team the other year and spent just a weekend there. So we thought we might just go up there and spend a couple of days. And if I can get the local pub so that I can do a live broadcast from the pub, why not? Should be good fun. We'll see. Right then, let's go through the answers to round number 3, which is the In the News round. The BBC recently confirmed its go-ahead with plans to end free TV licenses for people over the age of 75. 75. I think it's a bit harsh, though, because there are people over 75 that find it very hard to do anything, let alone sort out bloody TV licenses. Question number 2. Which company today learnt it will not have to pay Ireland 13 billion euros in back taxes, although it may go to Europe's highest court to be overturned yet again? That is Apple, of course. Apple. Number 3. Footballer Jack Charlton played 773 not consecutive games, but he made appearances for Leeds United. Number 4. If you come back from Canada, you still have to self-isolate. Number 5. Of course, it was Ennio Morricone, who was buried in Italy recently. Ennio Morricone did the score, of course, for the film The Mission, and many others. Number 6, as of today, a temporary VAT reduction on the supply of foods and all alcoholic drinks from restaurants, pubs, bars, blah, blah, blah. It's now gone down to 5%, from 20 down to 5%. So it should help a little bit. World famous graffiti artist Banks posted rats which were sneezing all over the inside of the carriages. Probably some reference to the plague, I expect, but I don't know. Number 8, The Luminaries was set in New Zealand, the New Zealand gold rush in the 19th century. Number 9, it was Chicken Run that I wanted. She voiced Ginger, apparently, in the original 2000 film, but now we're 2020, she felt she was too old. And finally, number 10, of course, it was Elon Musk. Elon Musk, now the world's 9th richest man, apparently, and on his way to becoming the 8th, the 7th, whatever else. So Elon Musk was stupid enough to call his son X-A12. So here comes some scores. We've got John O'Rourke and the famous 5 holding together on a fantastic 31 points. Well played, Jim. Michelle in with a very respectable 29. Sarah's holding in there with a fantastic 32 from Worcester. Carol Jackson, Home Alone on 31. Chili Willy is on a fantastic 24. Mike Yates on 27. Mick Roberts on 25. Rich and Jen on 28 points. Ian Miller on 26. PRS are on 31 points. Pick a Mix on 28. Andrew Lewis is on 22. We've got Graham Gifford on 26. Steve Farn is on 28. Anne and Dave on 24 points. Karen Pennington looking a little bit sad there, only 26. Gareth Williams, Gaz and Bean on 20 points. Jackie Skip, Booby Prize Girls on 25. Got Jill Pugh, 33 points. That's a very good score. Harry, Julie and Ian on 32 points. Vanessa's on 15 points. Well done, Vanessa. Split the difference on 33 points. So we've got a few 33s where the Quizzy Rascals not here yet. We've got Harry, Julian in on 32. Split the difference from Jill Pure on 33. Chili Willy, since when was 24 fantastic? Wow. I have to be. I can hardly. All right, Chili. I won't say anything until next round, and then we'll see whether I can come up with another expletive instead of fantastic. I'll see whether I can make something up differently. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Oh, I've got it. Oh, dear God. Right. Are all the scores in? I think we're just about all in. Right, round number 4, which is tricky. Round number 4 is quite tricky. This is called chain letters. 10 questions on general knowledge. Now listen, we take the last 1, 2, or 3 letters of each correct answer, and they're also the first, second, or third letters of the next answer. Okay, so I don't tell you whether it's just the last letter, it could be the last 2 or the last 3, which are subsequently the first 2 or the first 3 of the next answer. Okay, get the idea. So it's the same as a trivia trial, but instead of just the last letter, it can be the last 2 or the last 3, which make up the start of the next word. Okay, so same as a trivia trial, but different. So question number 1, I will explain as we go along. Question number 1, basically, which river flows through the county towns of Shropshire, Worcestershire, and Gloucestershire? That's a bit of a giveaway for 2 of our teams tonight. So which river flows through the county towns of Shropshire, Worcestershire, and Gloucestershire? Right, question number 2, you want to take the last letter of that answer, the last 2 letters of that answer, or the last 3 letters of that answer. And they're the first letter, the first 2, or the first 3 of this answer. On the TV show Danger Mouse, what is Penfold's first name? It is also the same first name used by Phil Silvers in the TV show Bilko. So question number 2, on the TV show Danger Mouse, what is Penfold's first name? It is also the same name used by Phil Silvers in the TV show Bilko. So remember, take the first letter, last letter, the last 2 letters, or the last 3 letters of your first answer, and they're the first 2 or the first 3 of your next answer. Question number 3. Which brand of cider was launched in the United Kingdom in the 1960s and took its name from the nickname of the 12th century nobleman Richard de Clare? Not that you're going to know that, but you can have a go at the cider brand. So which brand of cider was launched in the United Kingdom in 1960 and took its name from the nickname of the 12th century nobleman Richard de Clare? Well, you might know that actually. So remember, your previous answer, you take the last letter, could be the first letter of that answer. Last 2 could be the first 2 letters of that answer, or the last 3 could be the first 3 letters. That is just a 1-word answer I'm after for that nickname. Question number 4. When contested at the Olympics, which contact sport is split into 2 styles called Greco-Roman and freestyle? So question 4 again. When contested at the Olympics, which contact sport is split into two styles known as Greco-Roman and freestyle? Again, a one-word answer. You've got to start with either the last letter, the last two, or the last three letters of your previous answer. Does everybody understand what they're on about with this last letter, last two or last three? I know it's a bit confusing. No, I've got 10 seconds spare. Question number 5. Although no real gold coins change hands during transactions nowadays, you can still see the purchase price of a horse quoted in what old monetary units? Shut up, Matthew, stupid boy. If there's one person I know how it works, it's you. Question 5 again. Although no real gold coins change hands during transactions nowadays, you can still see the purchase price of a horse quoted in what old monetary units? Stone sockets, is he? Well, it has been a grey old day today, hasn't it? Let's hope for better weather tomorrow. I'll go out for a picnic tomorrow. My granddaughter, if we're lucky, but we'll see. Following on from question number 5, again, take the last letter, the last two or the last three. It's the first letter, 2 or 3 of this answer. What was the title of the sequel to the BBC TV crime drama Life on Mars? So question number 6, what was the title of the sequel to the BBC TV crime drama series Life on Mars? I used to like that. It wasn't a bad series, really. Go around beating people up. When coppers were coppers. Oh dear. Question number 7. Back to a food question, really. Mock turtle soup, snail porridge, and bacon and egg ice cream are all signature dishes of which celebrity chef who champions scientific understanding in cooking? It's a 2-word answer I'm after. So mock turtle soup, snail porridge, and bacon and egg ice cream are all signature dishes of which celebrity chef who champions scientific understanding in cooking? Yeah, that's easy enough, isn't it, Lydia? Right, remember to take the last letter, last 2 or the last 3, and put them on the front of your next answer. Question number 8. If you flew due south from Rome, what would be the first country you flew over when you reached Africa? So if you flew due south from Rome, what would be the first country you would fly over when you reached Africa? Nice one, Robin. Yes, I'm not convinced he has got much scientific understanding, but never mind. Uses a lot of frozen stuff, doesn't he? But maybe he was you don't know. Maybe you're mocking. He might have been a chemist, you never know, before he became a chef. Question number 9, listen carefully. After beating Chelsea in the 2017 Cup final, which club won their 13th FA Cup to become the most successful team in history of the competition? Mine. So after beating Chelsea in the 2017 final, which club won their 13th FA Cup to become the most successful team in the history of the competition? I know it says their 13th FA Cup. Well, it's the same FA Cup, so they've won it for the 13th time. It's just they haven't won this. Well, yes, they've won the same cup 13 times. You tell him. Don't sit on the fence, Robin. Julie's told you. Say it as you mean it. To be fair, I've never eaten any of his. Has anybody? Oh no, we won't go into the answer to that one yet. And finally, question number 10. Remember to take the last letter, the last two, or the last three letters of the previous answer, and the first, second, or the first three letters of this answer. Reaching up to 3.7 meters, a species of which bird has the largest wingspan of any extant birds? So reaching up to 3.7 meters, a species of which bird has the largest wingspan of any extant birds? And if you take the last letter of that one, or the last two, or the last three, that will take you back to question number 1. So it kind of works like a trivia trial, but not quite the same. Round number 5 tonight is going to be a history round. Don't normally have a history round, but I thought we'd throw one in. A bit of modern history, a bit of ancient history. Be pleased to know there's no Welsh history in tonight's history round. Rich and Jen are hoping for 100% on that round. Excellent. Right then, do we need any longer, or are we happy to... Matthew is a seasoned quizzer that's done trivia trial many, many times. I know you're only taking the mickey. It was one of Robin's famous quotes. He always used to ask me how it works. Because I had to explain it every week. But unlike you lot, there are people that have never done it before. So there we have it. So you've got to tell everybody. Right then, let's go through the answers to the previous round. Are we ready for some marking? If you're not, just quickly put it in the chat column. Otherwise, we'll go through those 10 answers quickly. Rich and Jen are looking very confident here, so let's hope they are. Right, looks like we can go ahead and mark that round then. So here we go. Here are the answers to round number 4. Ready with your ready to give it a tick or a cross. Which river flows through the counties of county towns of Shropshire, Worcestershire, and Gloucestershire? That's the River Severn. Number 2, on the TV show Danger Mouse. What is Penfold's first name? Also the first name used by Phil Sidles. That's Ernest, as in Ernest Bilko or Ernest Penfold. Number 3, the brand of cider I wanted was called Strongbow, that one-word answer. You then take the W, and when contested at the Olympics, what contact sport was split into 2 styles? Greco-Roman and freestyle. That's wrestling, of course. You then take the G from wrestling. Although no real gold coins changed hands during transactions nowadays, you can still see the purchase price of a horse quoted in guineas. Apparently the horse used to sell, and they used to give the remainder of the sovereign or whatever, 21 shillings. They used to give a shilling to the auctioneer or something. So that's why they did it in guineas, because the auctioneer got whatever. Number 6, what was the title of the sequel to Life on Mars? It was Ashes to Ashes. Number 7, of course, I was after Heston Blumenthal. That in turn gave you the L for the country of Libya. That in turn gave you the A, of course. Arsenal have won the FA Cup 13 times and might never win it again after winning it 13 times. Number 10, of course, reaching 3.7 meters. It's a species of albatross. Albatross. And of course, the S took you all the way back to number 1. So Chilly Willy got 10 on that round. Well done, Chilly Willy. That puts him on a fantastic 34 points. So let's have some scores in. Oh, sorry. Should I put a dismal 34 points, Willie? But that's Chilly. But never mind. I was going to say something horrible, but you got 10 there, didn't you? So that was a fantastic 34 points. You can't go wrong with that. Home Alone, 8 are on 40. Carol Jackson, on the same points as John O'Rourke. You two used to work together at one time. 40 points each. Mike Yates on 37. Steve Vernon on Farming on 38. Rich and Jen on 38. Finally, full marks for a round. That's Anne on 34 points. Well played. Sarah's on 42. Feeling hot. PRS are on 41. Roger Griffiths on 34. Ian Miller's on 34. Karen Pennington on 35. The Booby Prize girls are on 34. Chilly Willy says dismal. Yes, that's one way of saying it. Never mind. The Quizzy Rascals are on fantastic 41. Jill Pugh, 42 points. Michelle Gibbons on 38. We've got Andrew Lewis on 32. Vanessa's on 21 points. Graham Gifford is on 35. Leslie Barrett's on 36. Mill Roberts on 34 points. Gaz and Bean on 29 points. We've got Alex Brown now on 32 points. Harry, Julian, Ian are also on 42 points. So we've got some cracking scores. We've got 42 for Harry, Julian, Ian. We've got 42 for the Pews at the moment. We've got Sarah and the gang, who were in this position last Wednesday and managed to blow it on, also on 42 points. They're getting rather excited. And who else have we got? And that's it. Yes. Pick and Mix. I've yet to get the score in from... we got Split the Difference. I haven't got their score yet. But never mind. What? Split the Difference are coming with 43 points. Okay, nothing. Right then. Round number 5 is a history round. Listen carefully. Question number 1. Which event of July 1985, I probably don't need to go any further, was watched by an estimated 1.9 billion people worldwide, almost 40% of the world's population? That's some going, isn't it? So which event of the July in 1985 was watched by an estimated 1.9 billion people worldwide, almost 40% of the world's population? I remember I was working that afternoon and had it on when we got home. Question number 2 might catch a few people out. Joshua Slocum, there's a name for you, was the first man to accomplish what great feat between the years 1895 and 1898? So Joshua Slocum was the first man to accomplish what great feat between the years 1895 and 1898? All you serious quizzes, this is one you must remember. Joshua Slocum. Nothing to do with Mrs. Slocum. Well, it could have been his mother, I suppose. Would have been Mrs. Slocum. The wrong one. Sorry. Not my mother, no, his mother. Person I'm talking. Sorry, I'm talking to the wife. Question number 3, you could probably work this one out. With the exception of a few years in World War II, Indonesia was from the 17th century until 1945 a colony of which European country? So question 3 again. With the exception of a few years in World War II, Indonesia was from the 17th century until 1945 a colony of which European country? Come on, Sarah and the gang from Worcester. I'm sure you got that one right. Greg Pugh will have that one in the bag. Question number 4. This was on the Chase a month or two back, this one. Published in 1880. Which of the following were not present in Britain's first ever telephone directory? I'll give you the choice. Was it names, addresses, or phone numbers? So, published in 1880, which of the following were not present in Britain's first ever telephone directory? I'll give you the choice. Was it names, addresses, or telephone numbers? That's a tricky one if you've never heard that before. Question number 5. This goes back even further, this one. First minted in the time of Henry I. No, then it wasn't minted, and then it was minted. It's been minted a few times. Which British coin was finally withdrawn from circulation in the December of 1984? It's not been continuous over those years. So first minted in the time of Henry I, which British coin was withdrawn from circulation in the December of 1984? If it's any help, as I say, it's not been a continuous coin of the realm. What, you two giggling at? Are you? Going to start getting expensive again, this lockdown business. The wife and my daughter are off to have their hairs done tomorrow. Oh, they're coming here, are they? Question number 6. Listen carefully. Who is the only person to have won Nobel Prizes in both physics and chemistry, doing so in 1903 and 1911, respectively? So question 6 again. Who is the only person to have won Nobel Prizes in both physics and chemistry, doing so in 1903 and 1911, respectively? Now, that is some feat. It's very warm in here tonight. 24 degrees in my house this evening. Rather too warm, but never mind. Question number 7. What hyphenated name was given to the theft of 26 million worth of gold bullion from Heathrow International Trading Estate in the November of the same year? Of that year. It hasn't got that year. I haven't put the name down. Sorry, I've made a bit of a cock up on that. We don't need to put that year, do we? What am I going to? Right, hang on, I'll look up. Just give me a second. I'm going to look up the year quickly. So, 83. Right, 1986, I think it is. Sorry, technical hitch with that question. Hope you're still watching. Whilst I just correct myself. Oh no, 83 it is. So if you just put International Trading Estate in November of 1993. So question number 7 again. What hyphenated name was given to the theft of £26 million worth of gold bullion from Heathrow International Trading Estate in the November of 1983? That's how it's supposed to have read. It didn't come over quite like that, did it? Ah! Oh, I nearly shut myself down there. Question number 8. In the 19th century, the term bone shaker was commonly used to refer to an early type of what? Come on, nice easy one that. In the 19th century, the term bone shaker was commonly used to refer to an early type of what? Still used today. Yeah, a bit of a tricky history around this one, but never mind. Question number 9. What do you put? Oh, Chili Willy, what's he putting down here? Oh dear. Well, they steam powered or? Question number 9, listen carefully. A poster featuring the British Secretary of State for War, Lord Kitchener, above the words, "wants you," something like that, was used as part of a British Army recruiting campaign for which war? I'll give you the choice. Was it the Crimean War, the Boer War, or the First World War? Leslie's joining in now. Those early steam-powered ones were fierce. I bet they were. At least you wouldn't have to warm them up, would you, to be fair? Sorry, getting rude. Will you stop all this rudeness on the chat? It's you, Chili. I blame you for starting that. Question number 9. A poster featuring the British Secretary of State for War, Lord Kitchener, above the words, "wants you," was used as part of a British Army recruitment campaign for which war? I gave you the choice. Was it the Crimean War, the Boer War, or the First World War? And finally, question number 10, which doesn't take too much thinking about. Which library of Oxford University, and I'm sure most of you can only name one, is entitled to receive a copy of every book published in the United Kingdom or the Republic of Ireland, apparently? Well, I did try and look that up, but I couldn't really find it, but never mind. So, which library of Oxford University is entitled to receive a copy of every book published in the United Kingdom or the Republic of Ireland? Need to do a bit more research on that. I didn't have time to figure out why the hell Republic of Ireland was after that. Never mind. Sure, I'll find out. Right now, 10 very tricky questions on the history. Last round tonight is just 10 general knowledge on tricky trivia. So I'll just give you a minute to figure out whether you can work out what all those were before we go into the last round, which is a very straightforward tricky trivia round. Keep it going. And you're going to let Sarah try on this. Oh, yeah, well, besides that. Right. How's the shoulder? Not very good, Matthew. Not at all. Can't sleep still. I haven't been on my bike. nearly a month now. No, shoulder's really bad. Still very sore on the top here, around the back here somewhere, but never mind. And when I type like this, it clicks all the time. When I'm doing some typing with my right hand, but I'm still managing to do some work. I'm not lifting much on my right hand side. Never mind, we'll get back on that bike soon. Right then, let's go through some answers to round number 5. Is everybody ready, or does anybody need any more time? Needing massage, not for it. You're right. Right, here we go then. The history round. Question number 1. Which event of 1985 was watched by an estimated 1.9 billion people worldwide? That was a concert called Live Aid, of course. Live Aid. Question number 2. Joshua Slocum. He was the first person to sail around the world singly or solo. So he did the first solo circumnavigation of the world in a boat. Joshua Slocum. Number 3, with the exception of a few years in World War II, Indonesia was, from the 17th century, a colony of which European country? That was the Netherlands. The Netherlands. Dutch will do. Number 4, published in 1880, which of the following were not present in Britain's first ever telephone directory? The phone numbers were not present. Basically, you had to ring the operator and ask for somebody by name. Number 5, first minted in the time of Henry I. It was halfpenny or halfpenny I was after. The halfpenny was withdrawn from circulation in December of 1984. Number 6, of course, was Marie Curie. Number 7, that hyphenated name for that 26 million worth of gold that went missing was the Brinks-Mat robbery. The Brinks-Mat robbery. Well done, you got that. Number 8, the 19th century, the term bone shaker referred to a bicycle, not a vibrator. Number 9 was World War I, of course. And finally, number 10, that library in Oxford is the Bodleian. The Bodleian. I'm sure you all have got that one. Right then, let's have some scores in and see how you fared before we go into the very last round, which you will be vying for first place tonight. And it's been very, very close. Very close indeed. So Chile is saying +6 equals 40. Well done, Chile. Right, we've got Home Alone 8 on a fantastic 49 points. That's good. Mick Roberts on 43. We've got Steve Farndon on 46, the famous 5, moving to first place on 50. Michelle Gibbons on 47. Sarah's on 49 points. Mike Yates on 45. Anne Anderson on 43. Andrew Lewis is on 38. Ian Miller's on 41. PRS 51 points. They shift into the lead. Roger Griffiths on 38. We've got Leslie Barrett on 45. The Quizzy Rascals on 51. Graham Gifford's on 46. We've got Karen Pennington and the gang from Blackpool on 42 points. Rich and Jen have retracted their message. I'm not sure what they're putting down, but never mind. Alex Brown's on a fantastic 41. Gareth Williams, Gaz and Bean on 36 points. Jill Pugh, 51 points. We've got, who else have we got? Pick Mix on 41. Rich and Jen, 43. It's all gone downhill. What a shame. Harry, Julie and Ian, they dropped a little bit. Dropped 3 on 49 points. Carol saying, whoops, we're only on 48 points. Never mind, nothing like giving yourself the next one. There's nothing wrong with that. Jackie Skip on 41 points and split the difference. They're in the lead. Yes, they are still by 1 point on 52 points. So split the difference at presently 52 points. We have the Quizzy Rascals on 51, PRS on 51 points, who are last week's winners. We've got Sarah and the gang on 49, the famous point fiver on 50. Home Alone on 49. Oh, no, they're 48 now, aren't they? Apparently, after remarking their scores. So it's all down to the last round. You can gain a few points or lose a few points in this round. So let's hear how we all fare. Last round, 10 general knowledge questions, typical trivia. So let's see how we go. Number 1 is a rather appropriate anagram. Oh, my terrible drains below can be rearranged to spell the name of which condition involving recurrent pain. So, oh, my terrible drains below can be rearranged to spell or to give the which condition involving recurrent pain. Lydia's put the anagram up in the chat so you can get the lettering. Rearrange that and it will give you a well-known condition involving recurrent pain, and it is rather appropriate. It's a 3-word answer I'm after. I'm sure if we've got to, it's got to be 1 in 100 people at least suffer from this syndrome, so one of you will have it, I'm sure. Oh, Pick and Mix came in. Sorry, people had a bit late with their scores, so we've got Pick and Mix came in with 43. Vanessa Hughes is on 24. Jenny Graham and friends are on a fantastic 46. Woo-hoo. So they're doing all right there. So as I said, a rather appropriate anagram, oh my terrible drains below, be rearranged to spell the name of which condition involving recurrent pain. Question number 2. Invented in the 9th century in China, what constitutes a mixture of potassium nitrate, carbon, and sulfur? That's an easy one, that I'm sure. So invented in the 9th century in China, what constitutes a mixture of potassium nitrate, carbon, and sulfur? You don't want to be looking about potassium nitrate. Did any of you manage to venture out and get to the pub at the weekend, or a pub? Be interesting to know whether anybody's been out yet. When did we open? We've been open 2 weeks now, haven't we? Yeah, we've been open 2 weeks now. Things have been steady, slow but steady, I suppose is the word. People are still very reluctant to come out, and fortunately, one of our places, we've got a nice big garden, but yeah, it's been steady. Question number 3. Which major river forms the eastern section of the border between England and Scotland? So which major river forms the eastern section of the border between England and Scotland? Nitrates are always more expensive than day rates, aren't they? Ettington Park Hotel High Tea sounds very nice. Yes, I know you did, Chris. Question number 4. If a crotchet is described as a quarter note or 1 beat, what term is used to describe a whole note or 4 beats? Come on, Martin, you'll get this one. I hope you're still awake. So if a crotchet is described as a quarter note or 1 beat, what term is used to describe a whole note or 4 beats? I did have to quantify that a bit. Night rate, bank holiday rate. Karen went out to a restaurant last Tuesday near Preston. Very good. Excellent. Fair play to you. Yeah, I think places are beginning to open up a bit. Well, I think you've got it worst up your way, haven't you, Karen? Karen, I saw there were shutting down parts of Lancashire and not Blackpool yet, but it was more like, where was it? Blackburn and what was the other place called? Darwin, wasn't it? Darwin, Blackpool, Blackburn and Darwin, they were closing down a bit or trying to. Right, question number 5, listen carefully. The name of which food item could also be used to refer to a small piece of data downloaded to a computer by a website containing details of the user to help identify them when they revisit the site. So the name of which food item can also be used to refer to a small piece of data downloaded to a computer by a website containing details of a user to help identify them when they revisit that site. Well, it's funny because, of course, now they ask you on all these websites, well, do you want to download these damn things? Well, of course, you can't get on there unless you download them. So you download them. And if you've got a tracker, it shows that some of these websites, they're downloading about 20. What do they need 20 things to identify who they are? Some websites only download one, others download about 20 of these damn things. Why is that? Sorry about that, I'm sidetracking. Question number 6. According to legend, if it rains on St. Swithin's Day, it will continue to rain for how many days? So question 6 again. According to legend, if it rains on St. Swithin's Day, it will continue to rain for how many days? Damn, did we have that question last week? Are you sure, Alex? Ah, bother. I've been trying to avoid questions that we've had before. Dagnabbit. I'll flag that one up in red. You don't think we had it? Sure it wasn't a variation on a theme? It might have been. I want to be in the cookie one. I mean the one with the data packages, sorry. Question number 7, listen carefully. The pop groups Ace of Base and the Cardigans both hail from which European country? So question 7 again. The pop groups Ace of Base and the Cardigans both hail from which European country? How are we all faring? You nearly put you out your misery in a minute. You'll be all right, don't worry. It's keeping you all entertained tonight for at least 10 or 15 minutes, but never mind. Ah, Matthew liked that one. Robin, I like this one. Question number 8. Listen carefully. Horus is the name of a sky god in ancient Egyptian mythology. He's depicted as having the body of a human with the head of which creature? So how well do you know your Egyptian mythology? Horus is the name of a sky god in ancient Egyptian mythology. He's depicted as having the body of a human with the head of which other creature? Right, just 2 to go. Here we go then. Question number 9. Often used in photovoltaic systems, what name is given to an electronic device or circuitry that changes direct current to alternating current? So often used in photovoltaic systems, what name is given to an electronic device or circuitry that changes direct current to alternating current? And I hope I'm not going to be corrected on that one by know-it-alls, but we'll see. Sorry, Claire. What did I say? I'm just giving away the answer to that one. No giving away the answer. Claire's laughing. It happens to all of us. You're right, it does. Me more than others as well, Matt. But never mind. How's little one anyway, Matthew? Must be growing now, isn't he? How is he? How old is he, do you reckon? 5? How old is he now? Little Barney. Be interesting to know. Right? How old's little Barney now? Be interested to know. Honestly, I'm told since I've seen him, I have to say, but anyway. And finally, 9. Dear God. You know, is he sat joining you at the moment then? He's probably joining in the quiz at that age. And finally, question number 10. Which precious gemstone is mainly made up of aluminium oxide and gets its colour from the addition of chromium? Come on, Leslie, you'll get that one. So which precious gemstone is mainly made up of aluminium oxide and gets its colour from the addition of chromium? He's answering all the questions I thought you might do. Well, 9-year-olds can be very good in quizzes. Dear God. What amazes me with kids is the ability to remember things. Once you get to my age, you forget them every week, you know. Or it takes you 10 times to remember the same damn thing, but never mind. Right, there's your 10 questions. Apparently they pay attention, kids do, unlike me. I can't believe that at all. When I take my granddaughter out tomorrow, she will not be, won't pay attention for more than 5 seconds before she's on to something else. I take it that question's for John. Well, it could be, but it wasn't, Carol. It was just a question. I'm sure you should know that anyway, surely. Right then, are we ready for some answers, or do we need a little bit longer? Bloody hell. That is an extraordinary gift, isn't it, if you've got photographic memory? Unbelievable. No, says Carol. Come on, Carol, have a go at it. Chromium. Chromium oxide. What colour is it? Sure you'll know that. Right, here we go then. Here are the answers. Let's see how we've all fared. Let's have some winners, some losers. See whether you're in the top 3 or 4 tonight. Doesn't matter, provided everybody's enjoyed themselves somehow or other in this quiz, but never mind. Especially if you're from different parts of the country. It's great to see you all taking part tonight. We will, of course, have the Sunday night quiz. It seems to be a bit more popular than the Wednesday night quiz, not for any good reason, but it's just, I think, well, my people, well, obviously there's people out at work on Wednesday, whatever else, but never mind. Here we go then. Question 1, the rather appropriate anagram, oh my terrible drains below, and they can be spelled out to rearrange which condition involving recurrent pain. That is irritable bowel syndrome. Irritable bowel syndrome. Well done if you worked that one out. Number 2, it was invented in the 9th century, apparently in China. It constitutes a mixture of potassium nitrate, carbon and sulfur. That, of course, is gunpowder. Number 3, which major river forms the eastern section of the border between England and Scotland? That's the Tweed. Number 4, if a crotchet is described as a quarter note or 1 beat, what term is used to describe a whole note or 4 beats? That's a semibreve, a semibreve. Well done if you got that one. That was tricky. Number 5, of course, that item which is downloaded to your computer is called a cookie. Number 6, according to legend, if it rains on St. Swithin's Day, it will continue to rain for 40 days. Number 7, the pop groups Ace of Base and the Cardigans both hail from Sweden. Number 8, Horus is the name given to the sky god in ancient Egyptian mythology. He has the body of a human and the head of a falcon. A falcon. Won't really accept eagle. I'll give you half a point for eagle, but it's a falcon, which is a much smaller bird. Number 9, often used in photovoltaic systems. What name is given to an electronic device or circuitry that changes direct current to an alternating current? That's an inverter, And finally, number 10, what precious gemstone is mainly made of aluminium oxide and gets its colour from the addition of chromium? Well, chromium is, I think chromium oxide is red. Anyway, it's a ruby. I was after a ruby, so well done if you got that. Right then, let's have some scores in. So how you fared? That's the quiz over for another week. So, well, my model railway had a transformer and it changed 2,000 AC to 12 volts DC. Not convinced about that. Off to feed the hogs. Well played, Ian. On a fantastic, is that 49? Yes, 49 points for Ian. Well done, Ian. That's a good score. Roger Griffiths on 46 points. Graham Gifford, 52.5 points. We got Leslie Barrett on 50.5 points. Well played, Leslie. That's a good score. Anne, well played, Anne. 47. That's still very good. Right, we've got John O'Rourke, the famous 5, on a very respectable 60 points. Sarah's ends up, Sarah and the gang from Worcester, on 55 points. Chilly Willie ends up on an abysmal 46 points. Well played, Chilly. Mike Yates ends up with 50 points. Well played, Mike. That's a good team score. Mick Roberts on 48. Steve Farland on 50. Harry Julian Ian, 59. That's a good score as well. Andrew Lewis on 44. We've got Carol Jackson, Home Alone 8 on 58 points. That's a cracking score as well. Karen Pennington, better round of 9, so total of 51 points. Well played, Karen. Rich and Jen end up on 50 points. Well played them. Pick a Mix on 51 points. Well played them. Matthew Blood, what have I put? No, bother. PRS crashed and burned 58 points. Oh dear, Jenny Graham and friends on 54 points. They've done very well. Michelle ending up with a very respectable 56 points. The Booby Prize girls on 43. We got 2 in that round. Oh dear. Oh dear. I'll leave out all science ones next time. Jill Pugh, 59 points. That's some going. They might be just about in the lead. Oh, right, wait a minute. We got, what were they, where have we got to? I think, did we have 59? Now, Famous 5, sorry, the Famous 5 at the moment on 60 points, closely followed on 59 points by the Pews, which is a great score. Gaz and Bean on 41. Sarah says, next time you were there or thereabouts all day. You weren't jumping up and down on the settee again, were you, Sarah? Never mind. Chris Mead, split the difference. I think they've just got tonight's winning score on 62 points, so well played them. Rich and Jen, thanks, they're saying. Thank you as well for taking part. Vanessa, well done, 29. It's all about taking part, and it is. And I hope you take away something so you remember, we all remember something for the next week. Thank you. A lot of hard work put into entertain us all. Much appreciated. Thanks, Michelle. Dear God, I know I still don't know how bloody did last night. Never mind. Paula Lewis, 61 points. Oh, dear, the Quizzy Rascals. Well played, Quizzy Rascals. Good night, Sarah. Well played, you and the gang, and Russ. And hope you're all keeping well. And are you off down the pub yet? Have you been out? So I'll be interested. Mike Yates, thanks, Mike. Thanks for taking part. It's been great to see you. Karen, obviously, Gary, thanks and very much for taking part. Hope all is well in Blackpool as we speak, and it's not getting out of hand or anything stupid like that. Yes, it was quite challenging, wasn't it, Mike? Last night, I don't know. I did all right on the general knowledge rounds were okay. It was when we got to the logo round I found quite difficult. And what was the other one? Oh, my wife did it anyway. Thanks, Hillary. Well played, you lot. I thought you did remarkably well tonight. It was all very, very close. So thanks, everybody. If you want to come and take part on Sunday's quiz, of course, same time, 8 for 8:15. And if you're there or thereabouts, we will see you again. So good night to all. And thank you for all taking part. John O'Rourke says thanks. Thank you. Gang and the Famous 5, thanks from Blackpool. Thanks, Chris. Hope all is well with you. And thanks, Carol. Are you up in up north in Whitby at the moment, Carol? Having a few days up there, or is it just your mum and dad there? I don't know. Or you got video links? I'm not quite sure. Jackie Skip, thanks, Nick. Lydia, see you next week. Good night, Jackie. We are excellent. Well, raise a glass to your dad and your mum. Martin, Carol, Joy. Hope all is well with all of you up there, and enjoy your week together with it. Thanks, Andrew. Good night to you. Hope all is well with you. I saw Tina wasn't with us tonight, and Martin, but never mind. I wonder where they were off to. But another day, he was probably out fishing today, wasn't he? But never mind. Good night, Gareth. Thank you very much, and thanks everybody for taking part. We will see you Sunday night, same time, same place. Hopefully with some different beer by then. I'll have drunk all this, and we'll see you later. Good night to all. Thank you very much for all taking part. It was very kind of you. Cheers. Well.